Okay, so now we got all the way down to brand identity guide. So this is all the brand words, brand values, the mission statement. I create layered, story-driven tattoos for people who want their ink to be more than just decoration. I don't really like ink, but we'll go with it for the moment. My work starts with deep listening, sharp observation, and a drive to find hidden angles in a person's story. My trick to that is video consultations. I meet people in a video consultation and I know that I have something taking notes for me and I can just talk to them. I don't have to be real serious. A lot of times when I'm trying to figure out a person's design, I get on the more like RBF type of serious mode. And it's a lot easier if I know that the notes are handled, that there's going to be a recording there for me that's already like broken down into a summary of events, but then I'm going to be able to connect with that person. Now, it's a problem for some people to do the video calls. I think that that is going to be more of a thing moving forward into the future. I like to do it that way because if I meet a person in the shop, I will say yes, right? There's like just kind of no way getting around it. But then sometimes I will be annoyed with myself going into the tattoo, and that's not good for the client, right? So I want the chance to be kind of separated and say, hey, I think that that would look good done this way. And if you disagree, then I don't think I'm the right person. And it's not really about anything else other than leaning away from the stuff that I don't think is going to age well. And so I'm here to make intelligent, visually striking work that honors both my past and the path I'm carving now as a full artist, not just a technician. So it handles your tone of voice. It's telling me my tone of voice here, my about me snippet, my audience snapshot, my people are young professionals, blah, blah, blah. So all this stuff, revise every 6 to 12 months. And this is a good reminder, right? So as you grow as an artist, come back and do this every few months and update it, update your knowledge base about yourself. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just copy all this, go to folders, should have client brands here, orthodox, that will be fine, new, and this will populate itself. Now we have all of that. It's still copied. We're going to go to Dream Client Discovery. So this is my brand guide. Help me find my dream client. And so you just paste that in here. We know that it got all the way to the end, so we're good. Give it just a second to think. And this is going to start telling you, all right, it's sharp, it's opinionated. Before I lock this into 2 dream client avatars, you want a male and a female, and build messaging that actually filters the right people in, and the vibe killers out. I need to sanity check one thing. Just answer these things straight. No overthinking. What exactly am I selling right now? Who do I think my dream client is today? People who are, and they want a community relationship with theirs. So I would really like to get to the point where I am drawing and doing 3D and painting on YouTube and can just like talk to people in the comments. I feel like that's probably the easiest way to do it. So they don't have to be next to me while I'm drawing. I can draw anytime and they can comment on it and we can work from there. But maybe getting that, I'm offering people put, and it's just not the industry standard, I don't think. So things and systems, this is great. Boom. Tattoo that feels inevitable. Not in transition, client avatar too. Cool. It's pretty cool. So I'm going to put all of these in the links here. You guys will be able to read all of them. And then I'll also let you read the like final output just so you can kind of see the difference and see like what went into it. I'm not getting crazy with it, but I am trying to be really honest about who I am and what I want to do and who I want to speak to. And then, so now we're going to have a 30-day content plan that like targets these people, right? And so I probably won't do this, at least not right off the bat, but it's great to be able to come and say, hey, this is my dream client. How do I target this person, right? And you can now also go say, hey, this is Thomas and this is Kathy, or fuck whatever you want to do. I curse a lot, so if that's not your thing, this probably isn't your channel. Sorry. And then cool. So we made a 30-day content plan, a bunch of stories, feeds, myth, meaning, and restraint, stories, all kinds of stuff. There's just a bunch of ideas here. And so for right now, I'm not going to use that in the beginning. I'm going to use this dream client avatar. That's great. Now we're going to go to this other chat GPT. Let's say explore GPTs, my GPTs. And there should be another one that says client journey is a great one. Strategy analysis, stencil helper, brand clarity code, visual style help. I think is not it. Tattoo artist wiki helper. We'll get there in a minute. There should be a brand voice one. BOLDBooking.io brand voice. Here we go. So this is my brand identity guide. We're going to copy all of this and come back in and say it's both. So it wants to know, is this a personal or business? and what's going on. And so I just said it's both. My name is Mickey Schlick, my professional handle or whatever is, in this case, Unorthodox Tattoo. And this is my brand guide. I'm going to just then paste in all of that, send it. Now, each time you're already sending all of the information that it needs mostly to get it done. So it's going to go faster and faster each time. If your brand were a person, what 3 traits? Not values, just 5s. Forward thinking, strategic, problem solve, picture, perfect pictures I make. Well, I do like messy art, but not in my tattoo. That I'm saying that as I'm thinking of doing a bunch of tattoos that kind of like have messy frames. So we'll see. Would never be basic, simple, flat, traditional, bland. Tattoos can have chaos or grit inside them. The design itself isn't flat or thoughtless. Big difference. What are 3 to 5 core values? So now we're going to go back over here. We have these brand values. So we're just going to copy this again, put that back. Unique strength or skills. I'm tech savvy, hardworking, inventive, and curious. So I'm always like thinking whenever I find something out or learn what's the next step until I hit a wall. And then I'll forget about it for a long time until something unlocks that next step. And then it's like, what's the next thing and the next thing? And so I tend to chase down a lot of like random ideas, which means that I have to try a lot of things and then step back and say, no, that sucks. That was a bad idea. And not with tattoos so much. I usually can test it out in art and stuff first, but it is part of what I'm doing. You know, I haven't found a thing that is just me all the time. And if I just do this, then it will always be cool. I know the rules to do some things like that. And I probably don't enforce them enough is how I would word that. Building ways to do it. AI, 3D, traditional. What purpose does your personal business brand serve beyond just making money or growing your career? So there's a method to the madness across all that I do and that I make, which the problem is which is problem solving at an advanced level. So whether that's how to get your portrait on the inside of a trunk, or making sure your leg's going to look sick as fuck in 5 years, or making sure that clients know that the next call they're going to get is an automated call, or whatever it happens to be for any of the stuff I work on, then you kind of need to be able to predict the client's next move and next steps, and more importantly, their next problems, right? And so that is like the core undercurrent of what I'm doing is like, hey, I went through this and then I found a solution for it. And now that I don't think anybody else is doing the solution, I'm offering the solution. And that's really what it is and what I do. What kind of positive impact do I want my brand to have on my clients, my industry, or even the culture around tattoos? I'm not really sure. This has changed over the years. I always just wanted to be like known as a good artist. And now kind of like this struggle is to be a good designer. And then what is design and where is design and can you design a conversation? And so it kind of permeates into all those things where it's like, I might not be the first person to know how a thing works, but I'm most likely the first of the friend group or the first of the professional group and pretty knowledgeable and free with the information. And I like to help people. As far as information, as far as artwork goes and tattooing, I still want to be known I would like to be known as a thought leader and as like a person who looks at the trends and looks at what's popular and leans into what's not as a sickness, right? Whatever's the most popular stuff, I have a tendency to lean the other way and go the other way. So that is that. And that's kind of it. I want to bring the stuff I've learned in. I want to say, hey, this is all hoity-toity stuff that is bullshit and you don't really need to listen to it. And then I want to take a bunch of stuff that as tattooers, we've never really like learned about or had anybody talking to us about and bring that back into the industry. So when it comes to like workflows or chat agents or anything like that, and the art stuff, I want to be the person that made 3D super available to tattooers, right? Because I think that we can get so much more out of literally everything we do with just a little bit of addition of 3D. I think that what I've been doing for the last couple of years, I've been really wanting to teach some of the 3D tools. But now as I'm looking at it, it's kind of like if you were to blend AI and 3D, you can find a picture of an object or an animal. You could have AI make a 3D image, go into your 3D software, light up that image so it's lit and angled a certain way, and then take that lit and angled chunk and put it in with the original picture and say, hey, make this picture look like that chunk. And it would come out lit and ready to go and done. And you don't really have to sculpt out the whole thing. I love to sketch and I love to draw and I love to do all this stuff, but I also love to tinker with these tools. So I'm not telling anybody how to not do these things. I'm not really reaching out to younger artists. I'm kind of reaching out to older artists that have, kind of seen it all and are ready for the next step. Or it's just like an old dog and new trick situation where, I know a bunch of old guys that have never fucked with the tablet at all. And being able to like share that stuff with them and, help them in their path is way more important to me than getting the next crop of youngsters. Cool. And then we send that out. One's a little bit wordy. Whew, that answer, that's the heartbeat of your brand. You're not just here to make art. You're here to redefine how it's made. It's used tools. What are you talking about? Here's what continue. You want to be known, blah, 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 blah. Someone who sees the big picture and the tiny details. Question the whole idea of design. Can you design a conversational workflow and experience? Yes. And you want others to see it too. Well, first to try new shit. That's me. Not reaching down to newbies, reaching across to the old heads, seasoned artists who've seen the cycles, done the grind, and still want to level up. It's absolutely correct. I want to show them what's possible when you mix 3D, AI, lighting, design logic, and tattoos. Well, drawings too. Don't forget drawing. I will be the first to talk shit if you can't draw. Never mind. I'll leave that part out. Cool. Belongs front and center. But if you can't draw, you're just dressing up empty ideas. Bam. Cool. You're not anti-digital, anti-shortcut. If you only know the shortcut, I am kind of against that. So if someone's leaning on the tools, boom, I will call it out. 3D, AI, all of it. Drawing is non-negotiable. You believe in real artistry, blah, 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 blah. Describe your ideal audience or community. Who are you trying to reach? Attract both clients or peers. Demographics are fine. I already gave you that, I thought. But let's go ahead and copy all. And we're going to paste this in right here. They think in blueprint systems, symbols, clean lines, and deep layers versus the myth-minded individualist who lives in layers, mythology, symbolism, shadow work, and weird little personal obsessions. That does sound like a lot of my clients. Waited for years for the right tattoo, not because they're indecisive, but because they're deliberate, not looking for a cool design, looking for a tattoo feels like it had to exist. Crave logic and chaos. Hopefully they want a cool design too. Trust you to pull the hidden structure out of their story. Boom. Do you listen harder than the rest? Absolutely. Seen too many cliche tattoos and they're allergic to shallow. Want something that looks quiet from far away, but the more it whispers meaning, the closer you get. They don't want their story simplified. They want it sharpened. Great. That looks great. Both groups are sick of trend chasing. Peaked, not grounded, intrigued, inspired, and yeah, grounded. Grounded's a good one, I guess. They walk away thinking, damn, I didn't expect that. That is what I always want. I didn't expect that. They're not spun up. They're deep. They're dialed in. Intrigued. Well, what kind of relationship? Mentor, collaborator, and expert. I'd love to talk to you about this stuff, even if I'm not going to be your guy. I don't want to have to turn you down. That's my worst nightmare, is like having to tell people no. I don't do it as much as I should. Sometimes I feel really bad about passing on stuff. And then sometimes I feel like if I was in my right mind, I'd be doing it a little bit more. But I do want to have a closer relationship with my clients. All right, let's dial in your communication style. Pretty casual, dry, and sarcastic, and dark and clever. I don't know. I could pick all of them. It's not haha funny. It's oh damn funny. Dead fry pan. Yeah, perfect. How much technical language? Explaining like a peer. Last one. I speak nerd, but key. Basic. Fluent nerd, but not obnoxious. Don't over-explain. Great. I do tend to over-explain. I should work on that. Boom. If someone wants to go deeper, I've got the goods. There you go. Let's pin down some vocabulary. Bigger is better. Less is more. Cool. Voice people remember. You process like a strategist. Cool. Let's define your brand voice traits. Oh, strategic, dryly funny, intellectually grounded. Those work fit out. Deflect with humor. So I tend to clarify and keep it classy, but if they try to drag it into the mud, I can meet there too. Quite right. If I say anything at all, I generally don't say anything at all. That's my biggest problem, right? Just a big thank you, book through playing. Boom. I like the opinionated breakdown. I do this too a lot. Call out disguised as curiosity. What? What do you mean you can't do that? I thought everybody could do that. Curious how minimalist became code for no concept. Like, a lot of deep job better at writing captions. We did not get better at writing captions. They're all AI captions. It's fine. The thing is, if you can tell that something is AI, then that means that they haven't put any work into that side of it, right? If something is AI, then somebody's putting some kind of work into making it happen. It's not working on its own generally, as far as like, it's not like building a tattoo shop and then employing itself, all the whole mind, giving itself a phone. Like somebody's making things happen. So this is now going to check out this whole conversation and give me back the brand voice. I'm going to just give it a minute. We'll go ahead and come over here, make a new doc. And this is going to be called the brand voice. And so awesome, let's go. So now we're just going to give this a second to print out, and then I will go ahead and copy the whole thing. And we're going to go over here to this file we just made, print, and bam, there we go. We have another 3 pages here. So altogether so far we have 11 pages on how I want to be represented, how I want my brand to be represented, whether I give this to a front end person, ChatGPT, a Claude agent, a Gemini 8, whatever. This is telling it how to speak. Now, I won't be using all of this all the time, because what'll happen is you're sending millions and millions of characters back and forth, and you pay by the million, right? So we want to take this and bake it down to a perfect prompt for our use case at the time. We might want different prompts if we're writing a blog than if we're writing a social post, than if we're like answering a phone call, right? And so we're going to want that core brand identity to be able to make all of those things. So that's why we want so many pages here. This next one is pretty fun. It's not really that deep. You can use it or not use it if you want, obviously. We're going to go back to my GPTs. We're going to find my GPTs, and one of them is visual style helper for scab jockeys. And so now we want to say, this is my brand guide. I will deliver my dream client next. And so what you're doing is you're giving it the document, but you're also telling it, wait until I give you the rest of my shit. We're going to copy this one. We might not need it. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Let's see. Introspective and moody, intellectual and sharp, surreal and atmospheric. Honestly, all of those things sound cool. I don't know what to tell you. Your art's already doing a lot of storytelling. Color should amplify that, not compete. Let's keep the right one. I generally go for black and white with a call out color, but I'm open to experimentation. And so we're just going to be sending these, and it's going to give us these palettes, right? And so you can try these different things. We can preview it on colors. Open the link. 16. Now let's look at this one. And so that's going to give us all these 3 colors already made, right? This is not bad. I haven't used a teal. My kid's mom really likes teal, so I'd like to stay away from that maybe. This one was pretty cool. That red is really red. Can we go more towards orange, which I never thought I would say. So let's go ahead. And working this way is going to allow you to say, I don't like that one. I don't like this one. That looks too purple. Now let's see this one. And I can look at them all. Of course, not now. I deleted 2. But this is, these are very slightly different. The one with the lighter orange has a darker gray. The one with the darker orange has a lighter gray, and no white in the palette, right? Which I actually kind of like the no white in the palette. It allows you to use white a lot more liberally in your letters and stuff like that, because it's not like competing for space. And then, try out. This might be cool. And the trick is you're having the machine make options for you. You're choosing the option, right? You're the creative director. You're the designer. You're the one that's making the decision. You are the executive. You are using the LLM or the chatbot or whatever you happen to be using as a tool to give you the different ideas, the options. Now, you could go into any one of these and say, actually, I like it, a few pixels off of there in the color wheel. And you can pick whatever you want. But going through here and figuring out, hey, I like this one. Let's see what this is. Now we're going to say, I like static play. What does it say psychologically? And then it'll give you a breakdown of what this says, right? I've seen some shit I still care. And let's take a look at this one. I think I closed it before I really needed to. Arial red, dim mercury teal. Okay, so tell me about this one. Heavy, precise, void-like. A step warmer than stark white. Feels techie and surreal without being cold. I do kind of like this one. Dim mercury, quiet surrealism with backbone, audience impact. Clients drawn to this are likely thinkers, people who are analytical, slightly off-center, into psychology, architecture, and tech. What does that say here? Give me fonts. Yeah, games for the. So that's not my current color scheme. And that's I would have to go change a lot of shit to do that. But it's not the end of the world. And I think everything else I'm doing is going for the warmer vibe. So maybe that would be a great idea to use something like that to stand out, at least from the other brands that I'm doing. So this is going to give some font pairings, and I don't know if it's going to give us a bunch of basic ass Google fonts. So I'm going to work on this and figure out a way to get it to give us more inventive fonts than this. There's definitely secret font websites, and maybe find something that is not everywhere else. And we will upload it. The fonts I'm using right now, I think are okay. It's just pretty basic everywhere except for the logo, which is not the end of the world. Not the best, but not the end of the world. So I'll work on that. That one is just suggestions. And the reason that you would want to set these is that on your pages, where are we at? Montana tattoo sites, websites, is that when you're editing your pages and, when I make a site for somebody, I make the first page and I just like make it really well done. And then you can copy that out and you can put whatever you want on the pages. But on those pages, we have an option for colors and you can pick your brand colors and those will be your colors all the way through your whole build, right? Once we get those set up between there and in your brand colors so that everything you pick, you can pick it. It makes life a lot easier. So let's go to this last one. We're going to the wiki, and that's going to talk a lot more about how you work. We're not even going to do it. I'm going to let you guys go. It's the same thing. It's you talking to a ChatGPT. So go to ChatGPT, search for BOLDBooking, try out these 5 ChatGPTs. I'll have all of them linked below, or you can go search for them and make yourself a nice brand guide, and then it's only text. It's a report about you and your business, and you should be able to look through there and say, yes, this is how I want to be represented. And if it's not, then it's a Google Doc, just delete it and put in the right thing. It's not that hard. It's not the end of the world. And you should update it from time to time so that everything stays live and stays on track, right? And then that concept kind of like ruins the idea of hiring somebody, because generally in the past you would hire somebody and then you train that person and that person does that job that way. If you're updating every 6 months and you're growing and changing as an artist, working this way kind of begets the situation that you would just tell whoever's working with you or for you, always refer to the documents, because when it's time to update it, I will update it and then that will populate everywhere. So that's it for this one. When I get this video out, you guys will have access to all the documents, all the conversations. And so that's my personal brand stuff for me, for just the tattoo side of life. And you can check that out. And that is the motor that's going to go and make the rest of my GPTs, chat agents, everything else. And I'm trying to cook up some new things to share with you guys, because I think that's, it's pretty cool. If anybody wants this done for them, that's a service I offer. And, we'll talk soon. I'll see you in the future.